Eden Koz here with Just Be, and we are about to take a spiritual boom. We are at an unprecedented time in human history where we are transitioning from 3D to 5D within the great spiritual awakening. This video and audio podcast is the place for you to find your truth beyond politics, your sovereignty, your voice. Let's kick up your vibration now. By the way, each episode ends with the Just Be practice to do just that. And as we begin the show, just to know a little bit more about me, I'm a soul realignment specialist, meditation master, and dimensional healer. Learn more, and there's merch also at edenjustbe.com. Let's get this party started.
Do you edit it all yourself?
Yeah, I'm the producer, the editor. Yeah, I've got it pretty much down. It takes me, after our show, 2.5 hours to get everything Buzzsprout and then Rumble and BitChute and YouTube. And yeah, I get it all done. Okay.
I get it. That's what I used to do too.
Now we begin. Eden Just Be Spiritual Boom in association with the wonderful Grassroots Warrior Network. Hello, Georgie in Australia. How you doing?
Hello, I'm very well, thanks. And thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be speaking to you today.
I'm excited, and we'll talk more about this, but this is your first solo interview. So everybody extend love to her. And for those that are new, I'm going to talk a little bit, read Georgie's bio, and then we're going to go to it. And today we might be talking about the Andromeda Council of Nine, Reiki, unconditional love, COVID. Who knows what we're going to go all into. And I thought about what I wanted to say to you guys today. Okay, y'all know I always get personal. So I've been divorced now. It's almost 4.5 years. And I decided this week, okay, I've already put a list of desires for my new relationship, because the new one, it's really going to be my chance to really experience unconditional love. And part of that was in this 4.5 years, learning how to do that myself. So now I feel like I'm pretty good at it, Georgie. I've been working at it really, really well. And I don't know. So I'm on Bumble, it's bumbling, and the right stuff. So the right stuff is more for those of us in the know about COVID, and it's really interesting to see the men who are on there, because on Bumble, most of them don't know anything that's going on. So I'm putting action behind my desires. I'm not feeling that this is going to be the way. It might. So I'm trying not to have any expectations, but so far it's just been really interesting. So I'm also really putting out there to the universe that on some level, I think I'm pretty ready for things. I'm just curious. Okay, Georgie, what do you think about that?
Good for you. You're on Rumble too, as well
Bumble.
as many other platforms. Yeah, Bumble.
Yeah, so on Rumble. Yeah, yes.
See, someone may not just find you through those sites. They may find you through being a like-minded soul. Wouldn't that be ideal?
Well, and that's really what I'm desiring. I want someone who knows everything, the galactical components, really juicy, really into themselves. So thank you, Georgie. That was so lovely. Yeah. So it's quite an experience, and also me knowing right when I look at someone's profile, yes, no, right off the bat. And then in talking, which I haven't talked to very many people, but knowing how to talk and being really straightforward about. So one of my key things is no vaccination. So that's my lead in. So we'll see how that happens. Then, and then just to tell everybody, so I've talked about having some struggles with my eyes. I am really now clear. Isn't that interesting, using the word clear, that this is part of the ascension. So I'm giving myself, I imagine it's going to be a couple of weeks, because Georgie, I've had last week, there was an hour and a half that everything was so super blurry. And it's challenging because when I was in a session and I could barely see the person in front of me, closing my eyes, trying to get adjusted, nothing would help. So it's
wow.
It can be
even with your glasses.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Made no difference. I did go to the eye doctor to Western.
I had that trouble this morning.
Oh, okay.
Getting up, please. Trying to put a little bit of makeup on my eyes. I was like, I can't even see what I'm doing.
Okay. So
that's fatigue as well. And
yes. And stuff with the eyes is can be frightening, a little bit like, what the heck is going on? So it's really just relaxing into it, trusting, which we'll talk probably. I have a question for you about trust. Trusting this experience, trusting that I'm going to be okay, that there's nothing quote unquote wrong. And I want to deliver that to everybody because as we know, being a light warrior or whatever, I mean, you come in and there are challenges that you face, and the more you trust, the easier it can be. So I just wanted to share that. All right, may I read your bio now? All right, let me clear my little throat. Georgie Beaumont. Oh, by the way, my printer was not working, so I had to write all this out. Talk about technology. Georgie Beaumont is an intuitive healer from Melbourne, Australia, who some of you may recognize as one of the Venus twins and through wisdom woven in time healing. Over the last few years, she has built an international reputation and following for her healing work and service to humanity. Part of this journey involved co-creating a divinely channeled course called Return to Sovereignty and God, the course that was gifted to humanity through the Venus twins by the Andromedan Council of Nine. The course has trained healers throughout the world, including me. That's how I know Georgie. And it's beautiful because this is the first time we're getting to meet face to face. But I told Georgia, I feel like I already know you because I've, taken the course and seen her on video. Okay. And the course is basically to remove harmful components of the COVID vaccine from cells of the body using self-love. And there's also a huge Jesus component and Reiki component as well. At the end of 2024, she was guided to go solo, embarking on Andara Healing. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, it all started in 2020. She was guided to step away from her business career and began her training in psychic development, followed by certification in Reiki. She's also a Reiki master, quantum healing, crystal dream practitioner, and she's a sound healer. From childhood, this is really interesting too, to young adult, Georgie studied classic ballet and is a grad of the Australian Ballet School. She then went on to become a loving wife, mother of 2 boys. I have 2 girls, and businesswoman. It is her mission and honor to assist others on the path of remembrance of the self, shifting awareness from illusion of separation, fear, and mind control back to the knowing we are all limitless. Oh, I have to say this with heart. Eternal, united, peaceful, fearless, and above all, unconditional love. Yeah, man.
Beautifully said.
Well, thank you. And beautifully written by you. All right. I want to first off ask you, it seems like you left your career, like your awakening was in 2020, like during the lockdowns and can you please tell me about that and tell me what it was like in Australia during this time? And I'm assuming you started becoming awake to all of that. Because I had been doing this for 20 some odd years and I was awakened to God and to source and all that. And then the lockdowns happened. And that was when I became awake to, oh my gosh, we're the Matrix. Oh my gosh. And that was when the galactical component really opened for me. So yeah, please tell us your story.
Well, my spiritual awakening has been more of a lifelong thing. So I've definitely sensed and felt all kinds of things throughout my probably more adult life, as opposed to when I was a child. I was so imaginative and creative, and the ballet was a part of that too. I loved dancing and expressing myself through the music, and I was very musical too. I played different musical instruments, and they were my 2 real talents when I was young that I pursued and loved. And then eventually went into a business career, and that was the total opposite. But throughout my life, I was one of those people that others would come to and confide in and ask advice from, and always pour out everything to me. And I'd think, why does everybody come to me with all this stuff and pour it all out to me? But and then as time went by, different big things happened in my life, some very difficult times, losing people that were very close to me through cancer or other illness. And during their journey of illness, I was by their side or somehow very connected to them, with them coming to me to just ask for guidance, assistance. And I used to sit with them sometimes or get this calling, I need to go talk to that person. And I was in the same vicinity. So I just drop everything, go sit with them. And they happen to be going through some kind of really big crisis in that journey through cancer. And I just sit there and speak. And then afterwards have this rush of emotion come over my whole body. And I'd think, where did that come from? And the person would just stare me in the eyes and say, how do you always know exactly what I need to hear? So I was clearly channeling something and didn't really understand what was happening when I was doing it. But I feel that that has happened throughout my adult life anyway. So the spiritual journey, I've always been interested in metaphysical things. And
so how did you grow up?
Continue to develop.
Did you grow up in a religion per se, or?
No, not really. I mean, my grandparents were Christian, and they wanted us to go to church when we were young, but my father was not interested in religion at all, and it was his parents. So he sort of went against it, didn't really care. And so we often went away to the countryside. I grew up going to a beautiful place in Victoria called Lake Eden, which is a natural freshwater. Well, it's not natural, it's a freshwater lake, it's man-made, but it's really huge and surrounded by beautiful mountains and nature. And I was in my absolute element. I'm a Piscean, so I just love water, and everything water is my peace and my serenity in my life. So I grew up from birth going to this place all the time and spending a lot of time in the country. And occasionally I would be dragged to church when I was young, because the grandparents would invite us for lunch or they'd want us to go to church. And I always felt very out of place. I never enjoyed it. I never really got into it, but I did always believe in God. That was it. I remember getting to a point where I thought to myself, I don't know about all this, and I don't know what I really believe in, but I do believe there is a creator of some kind. So I believe in God, but all the rest of it, I'm not sure. I'll work that out as I go. So I would not say that I'm particularly religious or ever have been. I just have more of a faith and a spiritual belief than anything else.
I think that you always had that. That's because I struggled with that. I looked for that and couldn't find it in the traditional ways. But you always, sounds like you just knew or felt some sort of connection or some sort of, what's another word I'm looking for? Like you weren't alone.
I always definitely knew I was being watched over. I always felt protected and guided. And I used to talk to everything when I was young. So everything was alive. Everything was a being. No matter what it was, I used to talk to everything like it was a being. And I'd even sing songs to things. And when I was young and believe, and I used to say, thank you so much for watching over me. I'm always so blessed. Not that my life was always a blessing. It was a good life growing up. I have no complaints, but I've been through some very big things in my life too, losing my father to cancer very suddenly. And I was very close to him. That was a big turning point for me. That was part of my awakening too, about my spirituality, about death, not having any fear of death. I was with him at the point that he died as well, and really got that message clearly about our body just being a vessel that we occupy. And so I've just learnt some amazing things through this life that I'm very grateful for. But to answer your question, in the first place,
another question. Okay.
2020 was the moment. So very, just a couple of months into COVID when we started getting locked up in Melbourne, which was a horrible experience being here. It was very tough, and a lot of us have blocked it out. Sometimes I'll go have coffee with some girlfriends and we'll sit and chat about it and bring things up and be like, can't believe we lived through that. Can't believe that actually happened. But yeah, it was very full on that time. And I had a lot of time to sit and contemplate and go within and read. And so I got right into watching Gaia TV and watching all these ancient history programs and documentaries. Not that our history is accurate, but it's definitely something that got me on that path of, I want to know more. I want to know more. Where do I come from? For years prior to COVID too, I kept on getting to this point of saying, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? Why am I here? I wanted more. I wanted to know, what am I here for? It felt like there was more. I just, I wasn't satisfied with just being in business and raising my family in this busy life that was just going by. I knew there was more. There was a real reason I was here. And so 2020, my husband and I woke up just
Your
like a
husband as
light
well.
bulb, same
Okay.
day, both of us. Thank goodness it was both of us. We've been married a long time, nearly 30 years. So
Wow.
I'm so grateful for that too, because we've been able to go through the journey together.
Yes. Yeah, that is really
A
awesome. Okay,
gift.
so what
I
happened? What
think I
was the
prearranged that one.
I think that's a blessing. That's so good. So what was there a specific moment or you had already looked at all these things and suddenly it was just like, oh my gosh, it's all coming together? What happened?
I have a beautiful friend who I met going to a health retreat up in the mountains in Queensland. I
Oh,
went to this beautiful health retreat as part of my journey because I've been through all these steps and stages of I suppose gaining wisdom, delving deep, doing
yeah.
healing, all that sort of thing. I've been working on myself for many years. So it's been a journey, and I met her along the way. And it turned out that we grew up in Lake Eildon at this same beautiful place that we both loved. And she was in another state of Australia when I met her. We were the same age. We had all this stuff in common, and she gave me a reading. She was a psychic medium, and she began her journey in all this at a very young age. So she'd had a whole lifetime, which is very difficult. Way back then when she started all that sort of work, it was not something that was recognised or openly accepted. So she's been through a tough journey of being in that field of work all her life during that time. And I obviously chose that the age of 50 would be when I would go ding and start getting into this, which many people did too. Like, I can't believe how many I've met that are around that age when all this has begun for them.
Mhm.
So that's pretty interesting. So she gave me a reading. And then we became friends because we had so much in common. So we'd chat with each other when I was sitting around being locked up in Melbourne and she wasn't locked up. And we would talk, and she said, you really should, look at Gaia TV. You should really get into ancient history. So she was awake to what was going on. So she just gave me a few pearls of wisdom. Why don't you look at this? Why don't you look at this? So then I began to watch some videos. I began to read Dolores Cannon books.
Woo, there
Love
you
Dolores
go.
Cannon.
Mhm.
And Dolores gave me the gift of connecting everything together, because I was right into all the spiritual stuff, and I'd say to friends who loved UFOs and aliens and all that sort of thing, I'd say, oh, no, that's not really my thing. I'm into this. And then I was reading Dolores Cannon, and then everything came together as one. And I thought, oh, okay. Clearly the galactics did not want me to ignore them. They were going to come in and start speaking to me. So I needed to know about all that stuff too. But I just watched videos, and all of a sudden I think I must have discovered one. I don't even remember which one because there have been so many since, but I just discovered one that started revealing that everything I believed was actually the opposite. And I wasn't surprised at all. It just all was like, I know, I already know. I know
That's
this.
great. Because there were
So,
parts of it that I was just like, you have got to really. I mean, it sounds like for you, just much more
oh,
like,
well,
okay.
yes, when I went deeper down the rabbit hole, yes, there were things that I thought, no, this can't be true. But
Okay.
the basic, understanding that
Yeah.
everything here has been pretty much the opposite to what we were led to believe, that did not surprise me.
So
Yeah.
where's your husband on everything? So does he do corporate kind of work or what kind of work does he do? Are you okay to talk about that?
Yeah, he runs his own business. It's
Okay.
a digital printing business,
Okay.
which we used to run together as well. So he's been doing that for about 17, 18 years, I think, on his own. Has a lovely, just nice number of staff that are like our family. They've been with us so long. And through that really difficult time, he kept on going all the way through, which wasn't easy to do, but cut down the hours of, when everybody worked, and we managed to find a way through those difficult times. And he was someone who, he's a great, great boss. I think he just is so good at what he does. And his staff really love working with him. He's fun to work with. And he just said to them, he kept telling them the truth, what he felt was the truth, because he was awake about it all.
Wow.
We didn't take the things in the arm, and he just said to them all, don't do it. I really advise you not to do that, but it's your choice, and I won't, give anyone a hard time about whether they do or they don't. And he managed to get through the whole time without abiding by all the rules and
how did he do that? Because
doing
he was
his
really
own thing very quietly. And luckily,
okay.
Where his business is located is not, in a main retail thoroughfare or anywhere like that, because I think retailers and restaurants and cafes and people like that really struggle because they were constantly monitored.
Oh, yeah.
They were patrolling the streets and literally going into each different shop front and checking that they did everything right. And for us, we were fairly hidden away, so we managed to get through that time business-wise relatively well, thank goodness.
Wow. And I was thinking about that too. My studio is out of my home where I've had other studios where I rented from. And because it was here, I didn't have to worry about anything. I could just do my own thing. People would come to my door and come in and shut the door. That had to be. And how can you describe how intense it was there and how long it lasted?
It was very intense because if you watch the mainstream media, which most people did, they were glued to their television, and the premier of our state was just he was just absolutely fear-mongering 150% to everybody. So it was all about the stats on the TV every single day of how many people had died in nursing homes, particularly. Every single day, all the numbers being rattled off on the hour or the half hour. So people were in so much fear, and it created a lot of division. It just, the agenda just was working perfectly. But then there were just the rare few like myself who walked the streets and went into the supermarket and did everything with no mask. But we got abused a lot. Like I was abused a lot by others. And so it was a very difficult time to hold your head high and stand strong. I remember sometimes feeling really energized and powerful amongst the horror of it all, because I couldn't believe I was such a rebel. I couldn't believe I was doing this in the toughest place in the world. And
yes.
Yeah.
So when you were confronted for not wearing a mask, what would you say? Like here, I'd gotten like constitutional things in the United States to say, but again, we're in different parts of the world. How would you manage that? What would you do?
I'd respond with love. I would just smile at them, like, look how happy I am without my mask on. Look how healthy I am. And I wouldn't say that to them, but I'd just smile and carry on and, not fight back, not retaliate, just be love. That I really felt that was my job. That was what I was here to do. So everywhere I went, I tried to shine as brightly as I could. I tried to lift people up wherever I went, chatting to them. I even gave people flowers and things like that. So a lot of the people in my local community who worked in stores and 24/7, they were still working. They didn't get to sit at home. They had to keep everything going and feed everybody. So a lot of them were very stressed because they copped a lot of abuse from people coming into their stores and people that were just having a hard time. It was just how they were reacting to what was going on around them and how fearful they were and how difficult they were finding things. And so some of those people in my community that I've got to know well in my local area, I would just go get a bunch of flowers and take it in and say, you're doing a great job. Don't let others get to you. It's okay. And thank you for letting me come in and not giving me a hard time because I never wear a mask. And
Wow. So, okay. I feel that COVID had two main things to help wake people up, even though they didn't want that to happen at all. So that was the big one. And then for folks like us, like I also did things that I could have never imagined that I could have spoken up for. So I think to help give us strength and to know that it's okay not to go to be a sheeple, to go with a hive mind, that we are different. And it is our job to hold down the fort, to be unconditional love. And even when evil or whatever darkness is in your face, how, confronting that spiritually, but then suddenly humanity is that. How do you step out and do it? So I congratulate you for doing what you did. And it was. And I look back at some of the things like kind of forget. And then you look back at some videos or news things that were produced. And you're like, oh my God, I lived through that. And whoa. And relationships and people saying, you're crazy, you're this, it was
That was a tough
hard.
one. Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
relationships broke down. We didn't have Christmas with our family for 3 years. We lost a large group of friends that our children had grown up with and we had known for 12 years. We lost that whole group of friends because they asked us to not come near them because we weren't vaccinated. So that was really tough. And many people went through that. That story has come up over and over again with every client that I've met who chose not to take the vaccines, which is mostly who my clients are. So all of those like-minded souls, I feel like we're all a tribe, and many of them have suffered that through their time of when everything was happening, but many have repaired that now. And I'm happy to say our family's all okay now. But yeah, it took a while, and that was part of the journey too. At first, there was the frustration and the anger and the trying really hard to get everybody to listen. You're trying to save their lives by advising them what you were, and then realizing, like a sledgehammer, I can't change other people's choices. I can't interfere. I've just got to step back and let go. And yeah, all I can do is be loving and be here when they need me. So that was a big lesson in it all too, for all of us.
And that's too. They're going to hate me and say potentially not like me at all, yet I'm still going to love them. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was really good too. All right, do you want to, again, I love the sovereignty of God. And I like, and Lisa, our dear friend, has done blood studies on that, showing that it indeed, once the session is done, the blood changes, and the connection back to God and source, which I also feel that the shots, one of the things that was being done was basically to diminish your link to all that is. So the course gets you back to that. Maybe, so tell me, should we talk? I love your connection to the Andromedan Council of Nine, and I do want to talk more about that. But also you going out on your own. What feels best for you?
Oh gosh, well, what you were just saying before about the shots disconnecting people too, that's really important, and that seems to be a real theme that's coming up with other healers too that I'm connected to and speak with, and we share information with each other and help each other and heal each other too. They're talking about how many soul retrievals they're doing, soul fragmentation work, and helping people to reconnect again with all the parts of themselves and connect back to source, back to their soul. And that seems to be very linked to many things, like other lives that we're living where trauma and big things have happened to us, but also definitely linked to the COVID jabs or the mRNA, that what has been put into people. So I feel that the healing that you and I and Lisa are doing, and many others now around the world, is really important, and it may increase in its importance as more and more information is coming out at this time too. So it definitely does that. It reconnects people. They have this beautiful spiritual experience where they definitely feel more connected, even just in their meditation after this healing, and connected to their awareness of their health and looking after it naturally as well. There's such a change in people. It's such an incredibly powerful healing. I love it, and I'm continuing to do it too.
Good. And I do feel that this is such a beautiful tool. It's not just a tool that minimizes it completely, but I do feel like in this great awakening, the battle is between kind of like this inorganic and organic. And the shots are inorganic. And also, if we go heavy into it, robot making 5G and robotic and just really transhumanism taking over your body. So it's a big deal, everybody. I would just throw it out there for anyone. It doesn't hurt. It is so easy, Georgie, compared to
Yeah.
waking up and seeing everything. It's beautiful. It's relaxing, and it works. So thank you for what you said. In your connection with the Venus twins connection, also that like you were okay. I'm gonna phrase it, and you tell me, add more to it. So at the time in 2020, you were looking for, Dolores Cannon, getting a QHT, and then found someone right beside you. Turns out she lived right down the street from you, and suddenly was like, oh my gosh, we've been connected in all these different lives, and that started your partnership with the Venus twins. And now knowing it's time for both of you guys to go to do your own journey. All right. And knowing that you're stepping out and this is your first podcast being on your own, how do you feel?
I feel a little nervous, but I feel really excited too. And so many beautiful things have been opening up. We've definitely been in the flow, following our intuition. And that is the reason for going on our separate paths now. It seems like this is the time, like last year was the timing to do it. And it was interesting when it all happened. It was happening to so many others around us too, that they were suddenly changing direction completely, really changing their paths. So there was something in the astrological component of that too, I think, at that time. But I really feel now, looking back, that I'm so proud of that time and everything we achieved together. And it was such a massive learning curve for me, particularly. I went through such a journey during that time. It was a very accelerated learning. And I think that is what I chose at that time, to jump into it at the age of, at the age of 50, boom, everything happened. I woke up to the world and what was going on. And then suddenly, right, you've been asking what your purpose is all this time. Here it is. And I began to, channel or learn to channel, and then met or was introduced to my beautiful and loving spirit guides, who call themselves the Nine and the Council of Andromeda, which they're one. They say they are one. So they're like a consciousness, I guess, that I'm speaking to. And I do feel that part of that is my consciousness too. I feel that I am them, they are me. It's another aspect of me, the galactic aspect of me, maybe, that I'm speaking to. And I've just been through an incredibly powerful journey since then. For me, it wasn't easy a lot of the time. And I discovered patterns within myself and my own life that I've been working on and healing, and it's been a very deep healing journey, which many of us have been going on. And I guess is part of the rites of passage in a way when you begin, a spiritual path like I have. But I feel like I'm doing what I'm really supposed to be doing. I feel it's my calling, it's my passion. I feel it deep inside my heart. This is what I want to do. This is what I've done before. And I've been remembering so much stuff about all the other aspects of me, the multidimensional parts of me, including dragons and all kinds of cool stuff that when I was a child were all part of my life, and everything was real, so real. And then, you get programmed along the way. And I've gone into a lot of fear in this life. Fear has definitely driven me in this life. So overcoming my own lack of self-worth, lack of self-belief, and fears about things has been a massive journey for me, but all meant to be, because as I've gone through all this stuff myself that hasn't been easy, of course, there's always a hidden gift. And I do tell people that too when they're going through something tough. There will always be a hidden gift out of this. And through our hardships, we evolve the most. And learn the most and gain so much wisdom. And so through mine, I've gained wisdom that I can then pass on to others and help them through the same situations. And many are attracted to my vibration, and they come to me with very similar things that they're working through. And it's my honor to be able to help them through my own experience and say, it's okay, I've got you. Been through this. Still going through it
Yes.
sometimes.
Yes. Okay. And
Mm.
with Claire, it was so neat. This has to be really great that when you were really opening, that you would get clarification or you'd feel something and go to her and she'd be like, I got the same thing. So that had to be so helpful to have a partner to really bounce things off of. And oh, I got this truth and a confirmation. Yeah, that
100%, because that was part of our training. Part of our training was, okay, if you're going to be starting to channel information or
yeah,
help others through bringing through information, we were so new at it ourselves as well. So, of course, we had to be trained in intuition, discernment, feeling things. And that's been a massive part of my journey as well. So we were always encouraged to check in with each other, bounce things off each other
oh,
before
nice.
saying anything. And that was a huge advantage for us. It really was, because we could help each other and say, what do you think about this? Can you feel into this? I'm not so sure, or whatever. Yeah. So that was helpful.
That is very helpful because I feel part of this process is learning to trust yourself. So for me, I kind of threw myself into it after studying for 6 years, and my teacher basically said, "You need to do this now." So I felt confident about doing it, but yet when you're, oh, I just heard that, is that correct? So I'd say it, and then it'd give me confirmation back. So I just got better and better. But being able to have someone that you could just do that with, oh my God, that would be so magical. Tell me, let me see how I want to ask. Yes.
Having said that, Eden, it's all
Yes.
around you too. Like now I'm doing it solo and it's working even better. I love it because the
Oh,
synchronicities just give me such a lift. I get the synchronicities around me. I see the number on the clock, 333 or whatever it is. And I get those little confirmations all the time and go, thank you, thank you. Whether I see certain spirit animals that I love and I always connect with, or whatever it is, I've had little birds when I'm down at the beach. I live near the beach, and walking along the beach is one of my favorite things. I walk in the sand barefoot with my little dog, and walking along, and suddenly this big download of information is going through my head. And then I think, oh, where did all that come from? That was really profound. And then suddenly this little tiny blue willy wagtail bird will come and fly in my path and do figure eights right in front of my face.
no
You're
way.
like,
That's beautiful.
okay, thank you. So, and dragons up in the sky in the clouds and things, like, I just love all that stuff. Seeing dolphins, all kinds of beautiful synchronicities happen. And you're always getting those messages of confirmation. And the most important one, I feel, is what the body tells you. The body is your powerful messenger. So
Oh,
feeling,
yeah.
there are only two ways. You're either using your mind or you're feeling. And we're moving out of using the mind, where the ego and opinions and all that stuff can influence us, and we're moving into what does it feel like, which is the intuition, which is the connection to unity, to source, to your soul, connecting to your soul, feeling it in your heart, asking your body to give you those messages. Like, I get massive goosebumps all over me when things are right for me. Because information is just information until you learn to discern it, filter it, feel it for yourself. There's so much information going on around us, more and more and more lately. And so
Yes.
how do we work out what is going on in this world? Well, I filter it first by not watching too much of it. So I stay away from mainstream media and politics and everything a lot. Whereas you asked before, what role is your husband in it all? Well, he's the one who watches all that stuff and is really interested in all that. And so he reports little things to me and I'm like, great, thank you. I've got my little update for today. And
Thank you for that
and
little
then
report.
I
Thank
stay
you.
in my little bubble of being pretty oblivious to most of it, so that I stay in a state of just being the calm observer as much as I can.
And with that, I did want to ask you just quickly your thoughts on Trump. Can you share a little bit?
Yeah, well, I've liked him for quite some time and what he stands for, and I get a good feeling about his intention overall.
Yeah.
But I don't get into politics much. I don't like discussing it much, and I'm definitely not an expert on it because I'm not really following and watching it at all. So all I can say is that I feel a shift in the energy. I was listening to something a little while ago. They were just talking about what they were discovering and what they were planning. And this is staff members of his. And I thought, wow, that's such a shift in energy from listening to our politicians here in Australia, where it's all doom and gloom and you've got to be scared and everything's tough and, you know, all that doom, gloom narrative that they use all the time. Now in the States, with what's going on for you, it's all about, well, we've discovered this, and now we're going to give this back to the people. And it's action. It's, it's like running a business more, I guess, the way he's going about things. And he is a very clever businessman. So I feel you're in good hands, and I'm excited about following through to other countries. I can't wait for these policies to begin here. And it's already starting to happen in that there is one there's one person who's stood up to become a leader of a political party here. And I don't necessarily feel that that person is trustworthy or good, as most of them are like that. But I feel there's something going on underneath all this, where certain people may have been replaced, or they're acting for the good instead of what they may have done in the past. And you could potentially say that about Trump too. I don't know. But I feel that what is unfolding is for our highest good. And I also feel people, I would advise people who are worried or fearful about it and think only of the reputation of these people that are leading political parties right now. My way of seeing it is look at the big picture, or think of the big picture, because there's so much we don't know. There's so much we're not shown, or we don't know about what has happened. And just how do you feel deep inside you when you really feel into your own body or your own intuition about it, or is it going in a good direction or not? And I feel it is going in a good direction. We need these changes, and they're positive changes for the world.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I do believe there's a galactic component to this, that he's helping a lot. And I also believe that he is really, again, not a savior, yet really helping we the people. And I also believe, and not because I'm American, but the way America goes, it is going to influence the world. So it's really, and I saw a meme, I thought it was so funny. It was what they thought was going to happen was when Trump was elected president. So it's like a hose turned on in water. And then what has actually happened? And the next picture is like this dam that is just breaking. So yes, exposing corruption. And there, as you know, there's going to be so much more that's going to be exposed. All right. I want to go into the practice for just a moment. I feel like we could talk for a really long time, yet I want to know, can you please tell everybody how you can help individuals? I want to know about your gifts. And this isn't about, hey, Georgie's services or this. I want to know for me.
Well, most of all, I feel that I love to sit with someone, listen to them, pick up on what they're really saying, the key words that stand out for me, feel into it, and then come through my heart with loving guidance, intuitive guidance that helps them to get to the root cause of what's really going on, which often is an emotional root cause, and helping them to release and shift things, release traumas. The new modality that I've trained in last year that I'm now starting to practice a lot more is called crystal dreaming, shamanic journeys. And
Nice.
Gee, I love this. It's the most powerful work. It's so great. Unfortunately, I can only do it in person with people now, so a lot of your viewers may not be able to experience this with me yet, but I will do further training where I'll be able to do it remotely eventually. But at the moment, it's in person with people, and they lie with a beautiful crystal mandala around the top of their head and some crystals placed around their body, and it opens them up. It opens up a beautiful shamanic journey for them. So it's like a drug-free way of doing a shamanic journey. You don't need to take mushrooms or ayahuasca or something else. The crystals do the work, and I adore crystals, absolutely adore them. This one's an Andara, which is what I named my business after.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I didn't realize that was a crystal. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very special to me, and very powerful, this one. So
wow, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Andara means light of beauty and perfection. So it's and this color too, I absolutely love. So yeah, I love the crystal dreaming. It's a modality where we help people to get into this sort of altered state of awareness where they go traveling, basically, almost like a past life regression. You go traveling and you are given, like, you're guided by your team, your spirit guides in this, and mine as well. They're all involved. It's a very intuitive experience for me, where I just flow with it and it can go anywhere. It's unique to every different person that I do it with, which is what I love about it too. And we release traumas from the emotional body, and we also free lost souls. So often people have lost souls attached to their emotional body who are living vicariously through them. They don't realize they're lost yet. And there seem to be many more, like I was saying earlier, there seem to be many more that are in that situation.
Yeah.
Because of these things that we've all been forced to take. And yeah, so it's helping to free lost souls, which then gives them, the client, a freedom and a lightness again, and releases ancestral things, patterns that may be happening for them. Like my situation too, helps them become aware of a pattern that's going on and to release that. And we do it through forgiveness, love and forgiveness, and just letting things go. So that's a beautiful modality. Yeah, I love doing healing work. I love doing sound work.
Well, and I have to tell you that crystal dreaming, you were the first person that I've heard about that. So it from my perspective, because, you know, I talked to a lot of people. I'm doing this show for 3 years. It seems very unique right now.
Yeah,
so,
it is. It's
thank you for sharing
developed
that.
by a man in Byron Bay in Australia.
Okay.
And he's an amazing man, a crystal master, they call him. And he just remembered it. He remembered it all.
Oh.
He had an amazing journey too, and then created this course quite some time ago, and he's taken it to the US. So there are people who teach it in the US and who practice it. Yeah. And I've actually got an exciting adventure coming up, which is through doing this. I'm going to the south of France on a sacred sites tour with Rain, the man who developed crystal dreaming, and with a group, a small group of all people who practice this crystal dreaming healing. So we're all a little tribe of like-minded souls, and we're following the path of Mary Magdalene, the Cathars, Essenes, the Knights Templar, and we're going to be climbing up to fortresses like Carcassonne in France. And yeah.
And I didn't realize there was
training.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to Peru soon. Same thing, going to Machu Picchu and a lot of sacred sites. I didn't realize there were sites in France, which part of me is like, okay, this sounds, Georgie. When are you going?
I'm going June, first week of June.
Okay, man, have fun. It sounds amazing.
So meeting Raim and doing this course has just opened everything up, and it all happened right when the changes happened for me with what I was doing before with the Venus twins. It's all meant to be. I really feel I'm just following the path I'm meant to be on. I've gone through a rapid learning journey and been catapulted into the public eye doing what I was doing. And then I thought, oh, phew, I won't be doing any of that interview stuff anymore.
Hello, Georgie. Can you come on the show? Can we talk a little bit?
But I'm not doing the editing this time.
Oh, yes, you are not. That's on my lap. Okay, can we go into the practice for us today? Just be practice.
Sure. Okay. I'd like to offer a beautiful meditation to your viewers today that will assist them to experience unity consciousness, which is a state of being aware of your soul, connecting to your soul consciousness, connecting to all that is oneness and bliss, a state that we can all go into whenever we feel life is getting too much. We're caught up in everything, caught up in our mind and the mental side of things too much. This has been a really helpful thing for me on my journey. And I've put a free recorded copy of a very similar meditation to what I'm about to take you through on my website, which is linked below this, I think. So
yeah, and I'll put it up on screen too for those who are watching.
Yeah, if anyone would like to do it again or use it regularly, it'll be there free and available for whoever wishes to use it. So if you'd like to begin by closing your eyes, sitting with a straight spine or lying down, whatever's most comfortable for you, taking some nice deep breaths in through your nose and releasing the breath out through the mouth. Breathing in again. And as you release the breath, feeling your whole body relaxing, letting go, becoming heavier. Feel the parts of your body connected to the earth. Now send a golden cord from the base of your spine down into the earth. Send this golden cord down through the layers of the earth until it reaches giant roots of the ancient trees. And wind your golden cord around these tree roots and feel the energy coming up from the earth beneath you, from these ancient, magnificent trees, sharing their wisdom, their love, and their healing energy, holding you to the earth, deeply grounding you. Now take yourself to a beautiful place in nature where you're walking through an ancient forest of giant trees. You come to a clearing in the forest, and there's a crystal clear river flowing gently through the clearing. Walk over to the river and step into the shallow water, feeling it's the perfect temperature for you. Feel the sensation of the water flowing gently over your feet. It soothes you and transports you into a blissful, healing state. Just take a few moments to stand in the shallow waters, sensing and feeling all around you. The sound of the river flowing, the giant trees moving in the gentle breeze. Feeling the peaceful energy wash over you. As you turn your head, notice a circle of green grass in the clearing, surrounded by flowers. It looks like a fairy circle. And in the center, there's a little handcrafted wooden table and a matching chair. And on the table, you see a notebook. Walk over to the table, feeling the soft green grass under your feet. As you take a seat at the table and immediately feel a beautiful, loving energy sweep over you. You notice you are surrounded by a sphere of white light. and you feel safe, like you've stepped into a bubble of white light. It's all around you. It goes underneath you. It's a loving container of white light. You take a deep breath and relax. And open the notebook in front of you. Words appear as if magically on the paper. And you begin to hear the words in your head as they appear on the pages before you. And this is the message you hear. Welcome, dear one, inside your loving container of pure unity consciousness. We invite you now to simply relax, let go, and feel as you begin to remember this way of being that is so natural to you, just like going home. Open your heart and feel the unconditional love that is all around you and inside you. Connecting you with all that is through your loving heart. Inside this loving container, you begin to become aware of who you truly are. So expansive, unlimited, floating and flowing with the universal energy of peace, love, and unity. Allow yourself to let go and fully immerse yourself in the love that surrounds you and holds you. And know that you can come into this loving container whenever you wish by simply connecting to your own heart. You can use meditation, or you can use your connection to nature as your invitation to this special place. Inside this loving container, you are connected to your soul. You are remembering who you truly are. Pure love, joy, unlimited potential, fearless, peaceful, and one with all that is. Stay here for a few moments in this state of bliss and oneness. It's a place of creation, inspiration, and flow. Now that you are aware of this special place in nature, you can return here any time and step inside your loving container of white light, where you can connect with your soul, with unity consciousness, love, bliss, knowing, peace, remembering who you truly are. Now begin to take some deep breaths. Breathing in, breathing out. Beginning to feel your body against the earth. Feeling the weight of your limbs. Slowly bringing your awareness back into your surroundings. Breathing deeply. Bringing some gentle movement back to your body. Fingers, toes, gentle movements of your head. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes and carry this blissful feeling and awareness of unity consciousness wherever you go.
Well, darn it, we need to carry that wherever we go. Oh, that was so good. Okay, I'm just gonna laugh for a moment because I'm feeling it. It's lovely.
Good. Yeah, it's a good place to take you
Mm.
out of here into here.
Mhm. And
It's a
so
lovely
much
little
is,
technique. Yeah, good tool that I
yeah.
found very useful to get me into a state of flow, a state of peace, a state of absolute connection. Very powerful.
Yeah, because there's so much right now that's wanting, oh, look at this and pay attention to this and pay attention. I'm touching my heart right now. Pay attention to this.
Mm.
Girl, how'd you feel it went? I'm
Good.
just going to ask it. I thought it was great. I think you did great. Soul Venture #1 podcast. Thank you so much again for sharing your story, sharing where you've been, sharing where you're going to now. And it'll be interesting within 2 to 3 years that, like for me, same thing. I'm like, I'm through my work, I just feel there's going to be a shift that the things that I've been doing, and that's part of the I thing too, that I'm going to be doing something different. It's kind of like, and my old thing has been like, oh, I'm going to do this now. And so it's like, you just sit back and wait. And
They're stepping stones. Even yesterday,
yes.
I received a message. I did a beautiful crystal dreaming session for a
Oh,
client, and I was so excited after what unfolded. It was just, it's always exciting to do this work. And then I was connecting with my guides, and they said to me, do you feel the crystals speaking to you and helping you through these sessions? Do you feel they're working with you? I said, absolutely, I do. And I prepare them that way. I speak to them and prepare them and basically program them for what we're doing together. We're working together to open this up and assist the client to make these really big shifts and release things. And they said, this is just like a stepping stone again for what's to come. And they say when you're very drawn to crystals in this life, you've worked with them before. There's a reason. There's more to come. So I'm looking forward to that.
Girl, a quick thing. Do you know, and I've hunted for them, so I have crystals around me that I wait, answer one. Oh, okay. Hold on. Where is it? Okay, this is a small one, but hold on, everybody. Oh, this is a small one. Okay. Take a second. Okay, I don't know if you can actually see this, but I've got some really big. I don't know if it's really showing the. But I've got some big ones that have big. I don't even know what they're called. Like, I don't, gems on them. Like it's, and when you go yourself and pick them up and clean them, it is such an experience. Have you done anything like that?
Well, you're drawn to the ones that are meant for you. They call to you. You'll always get the one that is meant for you. Definitely. I believe that. Okay. What is that one? Is that a Lemurian?
I don't know. Like, I do not know the specifics, but it's like for those who can't see as well, it's like shiny completely on the top. I don't even know if that's coming through. But I've got a box, Georgie, and I can't, when I go, I'm just like, okay, I've got a ton of them, but I don't, I mean, they do, they're like little children, just making them like clean them. You know, it's just, when you see them in nature and you actually pick one up yourself, it is just, it's transformative. And knowing that they're sentient, like everything's sentient. So it's just, yeah. Hello, my little friend.
I feel they carry a lot of information that's going to be very important. It's all going to unfold.
Wow. All right, everybody. Hold on to your hats. Georgie, if you can hang on with me for a second so we can personally say goodbye. All right. Next week, my only regulars, P and Cullen, are going to be on the show. Brandon Joe Williams is going to be coming soon. Man, I got a lineup. That's great. People that are well known, people that are not really known at all. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all just juicy. Georgie, again, thank you. Hold on. All right, you guys. See you next week.
Thank you. Thanks,
You're
Eden.
welcome. See ya.
Bye.
Y'all, find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Truth Social, as well as Rumble, BitChute, YouTube, plus a plethora of other audio directories like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So like, subscribe, do it all. See ya.